Valhalla I am coming. Always dreaming, but touching mama. I only go within one picture. The land of the ice himself and the midnight sun that a heart's been waiting. A song should feel so free. To whisper tales of gore. How we call the tides of war. We are yours alone. Always sleeping with fishing now. I only go within one picture. I think you better stop or even all the way. A piece of trust here with the day to stop. The smell of illusion.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, an independent filmmaker made some model ships and filmed them performing World War II fighter plane maneuvers and made some batshit insane plot about space Nazis and Wookiees and samurai cowboys with laser swords. Then the Empire came. Well, first that independent filmmaker got drunk on power and went senile and filmed himself filling his britches with shit 3 times in a row. It was about 20 years later after that first long time ago. And then the Empire came. And it was the darkest of days, a black hole of creativity sucked in all the stars of said galaxy. And it sucked. It sucked hard, like a whore who gave out 2 for Tuesday coupons. And out of that void, left behind an all-consuming force of evil, which was inexplicably immune to even the most powerful of antitrust laws, led by the nefarious and terrifying Darth Mickey and his Dark Lord Emperor ABC. if I have to hear about the goddamn Disney Plus streaming service one more fucking time, I'm just gonna throw myself into a Sarlacc pit and be disintegrated with stomach acid for the next 2,000 years. Episode 228, A Jew Hope. www.gruntfreepress is your Star Wars hub. Everything Star Wars. That's all there is there. I'm in the process of a site-wide overhaul where it will be just 24 hours streaming every day of all the movies and TV shows, everything Star Wars related I can find. I'm just going to live stream even like the books. So I'll just be turning the pages if I have to. Just going to fill up the content, just new content for 24 hours a day. Grunt Free Press. But I'm going to add CGI blood and gore and nudity on top of that. It's going to be a big project, so it's going to be my own special editions. The Han Solo and Chewbacca 12-minute long hardcore sex scene. That was kind of hard to film, but I think the results speak for themselves. You guys will appreciate that. My dog can't walk straight anymore, but there's just one of the hazards of the job. You gotta be a true Star Wars fan. Podcast at gruntfreepress.com is the intergalactic email address, and I am your host, Jar Jar Deicide. So yeah, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The game still kind of runs like trash on my PC. The game looks really fucking nice when you're standing still, and most of the time, even like I was looking at looking at like a video, like it seems to look better in the playback or like streaming the video, like because I'm not like playing, I can't notice like the little like frame hiccups and shit as much. I mean, most of the time when you're playing it, it's fine. Well, when I'm playing it in my particular situation, but yeah, but still, I mean, fuck me if there isn't some serious disturbances in the Force every now and then. It's not just me either. I mean, I've heard other people having various fucking performance issues and like weird glitches with the game. Even on consoles, I heard somebody say like the console versions are pretty bad as far as like, I don't know, like frame rate and shit. I haven't really looked at them to be honest, but I have been hearing people talking about it, just Fallen Order and being like, yeah, it doesn't run well. So I don't know. So yeah, the difference being on PC, I mean, you just every time a game doesn't run, you just have to assume it's your fault and spend like an hour fucking with every setting trying to like get it right. So, I actually did the GeForce Experience like auto detect thing, like the fucking, NVIDIA recommends these settings for this game with your hardware and all that shit, which is usually that's just never right. Like it's usually on like the way low end of what your computer can handle. Like I'll be like playing some like old game that's like I can run like flawlessly, you know what I mean? It's fucking like, oh, you should probably do it like whatever, like 720p and like low settings for half the shit. It's like, why, dude? Like if I can turn everything up and it runs fine. So, but this one for fucking Star Wars, it was fucking. I mean, I think they do that too. It's like, oh yeah, it's just this game's gonna run like shit because you should probably buy a new computer with a new NVIDIA card, to get if you wanted to run it on fucking higher settings. But so yeah, I tried that. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's still fucking. Even NVIDIA was pretty much like max everything out. Like that's the recommended settings for me. And I was like turning shit down. And it's still like this still runs kind of bad. Still get the chop. So I'm pretty sure if I had to guess, I mean, it just seems like the most like, it gets worse when it's loading, like fucking, when you enter a new area, it just seems to be like, all right, that's where you can feel the chop the most. So I don't know, maybe it would help. I mean, I have an SSD, like a solid state drive. Like it might help a bit if I fucking loaded the game on there. I usually just load my games on fucking just my regular, like the bigger hard drive, just because like, I don't know, it's fucking, it's a lot more space. You can put more games on there. But who knows? It's playable. I mean, I'm not like saying it's like, oh, it's like a fucking trash fire or anything. It's like it's playable. I mean, I'm just being picky. I mean, I'm a PC faggot, so what do you expect? So yeah, Star Wars Jedi: Fallen Order. It's actually a lot of fun. Now that I'm getting the hang of the combat a little bit more, it's not really, yeah, it's not like as punishing as a Souls game, really. You know, it's fucking, it's set up, it's set up that way. It seems like it could be, but it's just fucking like they didn't make it as like precise. It's not, somewhere between, it's like a little gray area between this like precision, like, you gotta be on your fucking like A game, almost old school NES, like difficulty hard, and, just like button mashing, just fucking smashing shit and smashing your lightsaber, and you can do a little bit of both, you'll get into a fight with, larger groups of enemies where you've got stormtroopers up on ledges that you can't reach. They'll be like shooting at you. One guy will have like a Gatling laser that's like protected by all these dudes around him with like these shock batons and shit. And there's like no conceivable way you're gonna get through all that shit by being like tactical, really. Unless, again, you could fucking like run, you'd have to like have like certain upgrades and like run past them. And there's like an upgrade where if you're running, you automatically deflect like blaster fires. You can probably like run around all the guys and shit and get to the Gatling laser guy and then go from there. But I mean, like first encountering them, it's just like, you're just gonna have to barrel through it as best you can, just hacking away to get at the biggest threats first. It's not just fucking this slow. It's not like slow, methodical Souls like that, Again, maybe later on, as you unlock all the Force abilities and shit, that would let you tackle that again. You could do it more efficiently, but I think the game is designed so you'll run into shit that's gonna fuck your shit up the first time you encounter it, or you just flat out, you can't get past certain things without certain abilities. Then you get an ability, or your droid gets like an upgrade or whatever to unlock doors and all this shit, and it's like, well, now you can go back and destroy everything later. The lightsabering and the forcing, the fucking force powers, like all that shit's fine, but it's not exactly refined. It's not like the Souls like super polished and balanced and all that shit, if you catch my meaning. Hacking and slashing, and sometimes you get caught up on a rock or a box, or you're, it's like you're fucking like parrying and like that. It's like, I know I fucking parried. There's a lot of like the creatures too. It seems like, you're supposed to be able to parry any attack. I'd assume that's not fucking like red. Like the fucking enemies will grow red if it's like an unblockable attack. Like you're not gonna be able to parry that. It's like, okay, fine. And then like you'll face like some creature or certain like enemies and shit, and they'll just be like hitting you with normal attacks. It's like, dude, I know that I've fucking parried that like multiple times, but it just doesn't work when they should, and it's just fucking like, it's fucking like I just get hit. And sometimes too, like once you get hit, they'll get you in like a combo that you can't get out of. It seems like I don't even know what the fuck you're supposed to do there. It just like drains like half your health. You just sitting there hitting the block button, trying to like parry or just hold block. Nothing's happening. So, but again, it's just like whatever. You just power your way through shit, and it's pretty fun. I mean, it is a lot of fun. I mean, despite again a couple like little rough around the edges, fucking like with the combat and that, but it's still like fucking like, I don't know, dude. So it's just like fucking, I'll just like die to like some random fucking guy that I've murdered 50 times with no problem. It's just whatever, dude. You fucking just gets me in a corner, and I'm in just like this shitty, like I can't get out of this. I just keep getting hit, and then it's like, oh well, whatever. You just fucking respawn and go back and fight them again. It's fun. But yeah, I mean, the fighting isn't even really the majority of what you're spending your time on anyway. The planets that you explore are pretty damn big. So the first time you land on a new planet, you'll go down the main path to whatever objective they're giving you. There's usually open the map up, and it's like, here's some yellow arrow of where to go. So you start doing that, and then it's like, well, you find some like hidden shit and side paths and all that. But there's going to be the locked doors that you can't access yet. Even with those locked paths, and maybe like it'll tell you like half the planet you've only explored. There's still a lot of real estate there, still pretty big fucking maps. And it's not like it's bullshit like, open world. It's not like open land with nothing to do in it. It's not just fucking like, oh, here's some hills and there's a couple things. It's like, no, it's, clearly defined paths and fucking platforms and all that. Like, it's very designed, you know what I mean? It's not just fucking, we made a space and here's the fucking thing. It's like, no, everything's very laid out, you know what I mean? It's very mapped out. It's just fucking, you just can't get to some of it yet until you get the abilities you need to fucking move on. But I mean, your first journey to a particular planet might take like a few hours still, it's like I'm still on this fucking planet for a few hours doing my shit. And then like you get off, it's like, oh, you're only like, whatever, 25% done with that. It's like, holy shit. Like fucking, the game's definitely not some fucking half-assed 6-hour long like action game. It's not, here's some Star Wars thing you just go and run through and that's it. It's fucking, it's good. I think it's going to take a long time if you want to attempt to like see everything. Like, even I'm probably not going to like be a completionist 100% about it, but it's just like, even just as I'm playing, I don't know how far along I am. Maybe like halfway, maybe a little bit past that. I'm just fucking like, there's a lot of fucking game here. This is pretty goddamn big, and that keeps surprising me. Like, we'll get to this ancient Jedi temple that's basically a Tomb Raider tomb. And yeah, one of the first things that you encounter when you enter it is a puzzle. There's a big stone ball in a circular room, and you see these 4 switches that you can hit that are on like the walls, that if you activate the switches, there's wind currents that'll go on and off. So when the ball gets caught up in the wind, it starts like rolling around the room, and then there's like a pressure plate in the center of it. So it's like, yeah, it seems easy enough, pretty straightforward. There's some puzzle here where you have to like manipulate these switches and get the wind going to move the ball, and try to get the ball into the center of the room on that pressure plate, and that'll do whatever. So I just messed around with everything. It's like, all right, here's all the elements I got. So it seems, again, pretty straightforward. I just have to maybe, I don't know, fucking turn one off, turn one on, and do it at a certain time. And I was stuck in that room for, I don't know, like 20 minutes. just fucking with that, trying to get it to work. I was, using like, do I have to use like force slow to slow the ball and, make it stop as I'm turning like one of those fucking, the currents like on and off and shit, or, I'm like trying to like hit the ball with my lightsaber. It's like that's not working, but maybe it does. So it's like, I don't know, fucking like you can't like push it or pull it yourself. And, like 20 minutes, I'm just fucking with it. It's like, there's only so many things here I can really control, and it's not, you can't get this fucking thing in the goddamn center of the room. So then I gave up on it. I know Yoda would have been ripshit about that, but I was convinced it was like, I'm just like, oh, this is like some fucking impossible puzzle, like it's broken or something like that. Because it was a fucking something you couldn't fucking solve yet. So, fuck Yoda, that wrinkly old ball sack. And then, you're in that temple that you can just keep exploring. It just like keeps going. Like it's just like way more involved than any like Tomb Raider tomb. Like, like the new Tomb Raiders, you'd walk in, it's like, all right, well, here's like, I don't know, some fucking like pits you gotta get across and pull a switch and fucking like swing on a vine across the fucking, climb up a pirate ship or something. And like, oh, here's your whatever the reward is at the end of that tomb. But in the middle of this fucking, in this one, it's kind of, in the Star Wars one, it's like, all right, you kind of exploring this fucking cave or whatever. And then like fucking like, then it's like, all right, you learn a new power. You learn like force push. And then it's like, oh, well, that's just like the middle. That's like the middle section of this fucking tomb or whatever, dungeon. Like it just keeps fucking going. Like after that, where now you're using the force push to fucking do all this shit. and then you can go back to the entrance of the tomb and then go to like the circular room, and it's fucking retardedly easy. Just to like, it's like, oh, you just push the ball in the fucking center of the room. That's all you do with force push. I don't know why the fuck all those like wind currents and shit were there. You know, it's a little bit of a strange design choice, maybe, where it's just fucking like, here's this impossible fucking puzzle that you can't do until you like go and like get a new power and come back, like in the same place. You know what I mean? You can ask, it even says like, oh, as you're doing that, as you're pushing the ball, or like I was doing, like trying to figure it out when I couldn't, I didn't have the fucking, the power to do it. This like thing, this, like hint keeps popping up on the screen saying press left on the D-pad or whatever to ask your robot pal for hints, like puzzle hints. You can ask him. And he kept saying like, oh, maybe it has to do with the pressure plate in the center of the room. Like maybe that's the solution is, the pressure plate. Maybe we should look for more spheres or something like that. So it's fucking, well, I mean, what he really says is fucking like, beep, beep, boop, beep, boop, or whatever. But that's what it's translated to. They translate that for you. It would have been nice if you just said like, hey, I don't know if we have the maybe we should come back to this later. Like that would have been nice. Or, maybe we should fucking explore the rest of this temple and then don't worry about it for now. Something like that. That would have been fucking helpful. Because I could have been there for the rest of my life, if I wasn't such a fucking quitter. That could have been the fucking ashtray maze all over again. It's like, oh, here's this fucking impossible puzzle. Go fuck with it. Even after you have force push, there's some serious shit they want you to do with it. Just to like finish that temple. Like, I think this is even part of like the main. There's not like some side like challenge thing. It's like a main part of the fucking game. You have to finish this fucking temple. You're fucking breaking walls and pushing like pendulums to fucking cut ropes or whatever, and touching lots of blue balls with the force so it's not gay. It's just, what could have been this really simple, just, here's the pressure plates and push a fucking box or whatever, push something heavy onto a switch, and congratulations, the dungeon or fucking tomb or the temple is done. It gets pretty like fucking Mousetrap, Rube Goldberg machine-y, where you're fucking like hitting one switch which raises a ramp up on the other side of the room, and go to another, you're pushing the balls to like another fucking pressure plate, and then that'll like turn on some wind, and then you can roll like a third ball and into like on a ramp in a circle around the fucking the first one, and then like taking the first one off to like move it somewhere else. It made me feel kind of stupid trying to do that, where I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's like, why is this so hard? Like, why is this fucking like, why am I stuck on this for so long? Why is it taking so long on this more or less like a children's game, but I could say the same thing for every game that makes me feel stupid, which is most of them. So, but then I figured it out, so I guess I'm a fucking genius. What a roller coaster of emotions that tomb was. The temple, I'm sorry, the Jedi temple. I just fucking, I'm stuck, and then fucking like, I don't know, dude, like this is really fucking big and confusing, and then like fucking like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, and then he figured it out. I'm like, I'm a fucking, might be on the path to a Jedi after all. So then you go to the Wookie planet, which has, my favorite name in all of Star Wars, Kashyyyk. And yeah, you can't say that and not sound like the biggest fucking nerd. Bonus points too if you call it Kashyyyk, the Wookie homeworld. And that's when you realize some of the character models in this game are just plain terrible. Like some of the art in this game is pretty fucking bad. Again, it's a little, it's just fucking, it's like, oh, this game's awesome. And there's some shit like, how the fuck, like, whoa, how did that get past them? Like, why does that look so bad? Or like, it's like, why is my game just fucking like freezing up for a couple seconds at a time randomly, and then I'll like go to like another planet and it's fucking like completely fine, like the entire time for hours. It runs fucking great, but every time I go to this other planet, it'll fucking like freeze. It's just like, how does this like little shit like slip past? Like the Wookiees, like why do they look like that? it just looks like they ran out of fucking time and just like, all right, well, here's like a model, here's like a Wookie model, a big, tall, like 7 foot tall, long armed fucking like 3D model, and I don't know, we could like make the fur look good, but here's like some fur texture, like this little fur texture. We're just gonna like stamp it all over him real quick in different layers and like build it up. It looks like fucking like Grimace from McDonald's with fucking like hair all over his face. And I saw that too in like the trailers they were showing, like the like E3 or whatever, like all the game trailers, and like the first here's 10 minutes of Star Wars footage, and you'd watch it, and like, oh, the game looks awesome. Then like they actually showed the fucking Wookiees in there, and it's like fucking, that was just like stand out. Like those look really bad. Like I hope they fucking. I know it's like an early game fucking preview or whatever. Like maybe they'll probably fix that before it gets fucking released, because they can't like put out like fucking Wookiees that look that bad. They'll fix it, and they didn't. Yeah, the Wookiees look fucking awful. Debra Wilson, who plays a character in the game, she looks like some fucking like fish-eyed alien creature too, which is like they can't leave that in either, but. I actually don't think that has anything to do with the Star Wars universe. I think that's just Debra Wilson, how she looks in real life now. That's the black chick who was in the original Mad TV cast, for any of you young Padawans. And she used to be a fucking banger back then in fucking Mad TV. She was fucking wicked hot. There were nice fucking big black titties. Then something happened to her it's happened to her in the past few years, and she's been in quite a few video games. She was in fucking Wolfenstein 2 and shit, and she looks like she'd yell at you and give you a lecture for a good 20 minutes if you called her Deborah instead of her liberated African name that she adopted last year. And yeah, she looks rough. I was fucking playing it, and fucking somebody in the stream was just like, are the graphics supposed to look like that? Like, that looks fucking bad. And it's like, that's Debra Wilson. Like that's how she looks now. The main character in Jedi Fallen Order, kind of blah. I don't know. I mean, he might grow again. Still beating the game. Maybe later on, towards the end, he'll get more interesting. There'll be more character to him, but early on, and like where I am now, it's just some young ginger guy, just a Szechuan favorite, and yeah, there's really not much to him. At the beginning of the game, you don't know much about him other than just like, he's a Jedi who cut himself off from the Force because apparently that's something Jedis can do, which I don't think has been addressed in Star Wars lore before. Just a Jedi can just decide to fucking like, oh, I don't want to be a Jedi anymore, and just cut himself off like that. But it does kind of make some sense. I think, the Fallen Order takes place after Order 66 happens, which that's when the clone army slaughtered all the Jedi. And we know that they weren't successful, with killing all the Jedi, obviously, because fucking, Luke and blah, 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 and all of them, Obi-Wan. There have been fucking plenty of Jedi in the movies that hid for years without being detected. Yoda and Obi-Wan and all that shit. Maybe others, I don't know. Again, I'm not really fucking too brushed up in my Star Wars. I haven't really been into it for, I don't know, past like 5 years or so. I used to be the biggest fucking Star Wars nerd. But again, after not watching any of the new movies, or like, it's just like too much shit. And again, it's just too much shit comes out too quick. I kind of like lost interest, and a little rusty on my useless nerdy history of a fictional universe. So, but being cut off from the Force, I mean, abandoning it. That's like a plot point, and it's kind of a useful way to start the game with very few Jedi powers, and then fucking gain them back up Metroid style. You know what I mean? It's fucking like, well, that works out well either or. Like, even something that's just like, I don't know, let's just do this. It's fucking a quick way to explain it. Like, that's fine too. So yeah, I mean, you have like you have a skill tree that expands as you progress in the story, and you get new abilities. pretty much what you would expect is, you get fucking, XP, and like here's like a skill point. It's just fucking like here's the tree. You can get more health, more force, and your lightsaber just does more damage. Like every lightsaber attack does more damage, or you gain access to more moves with the lightsaber that. Even though it's like fucking like, oh, you press X, like you delay your hit and then you fucking hit it again, you do like a different strike, or if you run, or if you fucking whatever, all these like different little moves you can do, X ways, like an overhead strike and all this shit. But I just kind of like forget, like I just kind of forget that's even there. Just fucking, I don't know, dude, just keep hitting X, like fucking, I don't know, see what happens. So when you kill enemies or you find collectibles, that's how you gain XP. The XP bar fills up, get a skill point. The higher tier perks on the skill tree will cost more skill points. Like it's only, it's explaining like pretty simple RPG shit, I know, but it's kind of like Dark Souls, where if you die, you're gonna lose some XP, but it's not nearly as like punishing as that. It's not like you lose like all your XP that you had, and then you have to start from like square one. You just lose like a little portion of it, and you only have to go back to like whoever like killed you, whatever enemy killed you. You just have to like damage them like once. So you just hit them once, and you fucking you don't have to like kill it or anything. You just fucking, as long as you like hit it once with your fucking lightsaber, you get all your XP back, and that like fills up your life too when you do that. When you get your XP back, so a little weird in that fucking like. That would be like a kind of an interesting way to like a strategy if something was like a tough boss or something like that, where you could I don't know, like risk reward type thing of just like, all right, well, I'll wait till my health's all the way down, then I can like hit him then and like regain my fucking life or whatever, and like use that as almost like another stim, like another like heal for yourself to do that. But it doesn't like, obviously you fucking, like the first time you hit them, it's gonna fucking like, it says like, oh, XP, life and force refilled, you know what I mean? Like right away. So if it's just like one enemy giving you trouble, it's just the first time you hit him, you're gonna get your shit back. So, yeah, anyway, yeah, it's fairly easy to even get more XP, it's just fun. You just run around, kill anything, and you'll get a point pretty quick. And the most expensive skills that are on the skill tree are like 3 points. So it's not like, even if you die, you lose your XP. Even if they just set you back down to like 0, it's not like a grind really to get fucking XP. It's not like something you have to even think about. It's just like, as you're playing, you're going to be killing enemies, and that's going to be enough to get you a point or two. So, I mean, there are some, I'll hold off that XP discussion that's going to go on for another, I think I'm aiming for 45 minutes maybe. I'll explain to you guys what a skill tree is, and like experience. XP means experience points, so I know I have to slow it down for the kids that are listening. So we'll save that. Double check, make sure all my definitions are up to date. So yeah, we'll check that out later. I hear the space lawnmower going. So audio might get a little rough. You know, in space, nobody can hear you scream, but they can hear you mow the stars. So yeah, there's definitely some fucking bugs in Star Wars Jedi: Fallen Order, and not just the giant spiders. Waka waka. Yeah, so I fell through the fucking ground once. So I was just fucking like walking, you know, fucking like platforming, walking, and then fucking like Cal just drops through the fucking floor. It does like the old school endless falling out of bounds, like in negative space type of thing, where I just fucking like, I don't know, I'm just I'm like in the middle of fucking nowhere, just, you know what I mean, outside the fucking map. Until I was just like, I could have like sat there forever and just fucking just fell, and you know what I mean, it's probably just fucking invisible barriers. Eventually it's just like some big rigs fucking off the road racing type shit. I mean, I had to fucking just quit and go to the main menu and like reload, you know. I actually didn't know games actually could still do that anymore. Like, I was like, I haven't fucking seen this in so long. Yeah, once too, the one point they were trying to transition into like a cutscene, like you're walking up to your ship, and fucking like they're trying to do that, and then like, you know, it just kind of like takes control of the character away from you to fucking like walk him to the ship for whatever, you know, 20 feet to the ship. And the angle I was at, like, you get caught up on like these boxes, you know, and he's just like walking in place on these boxes, and it's like nothing I can do. Like, I have like no control. He's just sitting there like walking. So he was just fucking until like he kind of like got unstuck, and like so he just like slid around them like slowly, like going to like one side, then like he gets like unstuck and just like walks the rest of the way, shit like that. You know, or like, you know, things like you'll be swinging on a rope. Uncharted style, like going like rope to rope or whatever, and you'll press the analog stick like one way, and it's like, all right, I'm trying to like go straight, like you're just pressing up on the analog stick, and it always seems to just veer off course, like left to right. It's never like any real, I've never had like a control issues with it as far as movement goes. Like everything seems like spot on. It's not like, oh, some weird controller thing, there's something wrong with my controller. Like everything else in the game is fine, except that fucking like rope swinging. And it's just fucking like every time it's just like, why am I going like sideways every time? And again, the combat in general can be sloppy. Like you're blocking or parrying a normal attack, it just, you know, doesn't work, or, you know, you press up to heal and it fucking like, it just doesn't, like, just fucking, there's no reason. It's like you press up and he's like, oh, you know, I need a stim BD. And then it's like, I guess I have to run away even further and try again, because if you didn't fucking heal me, great. So I mean, again, that and like the fucking little graphical glitches and like chop. It feels unpolished at times, but again, the game's so fucking fun. Like, I'm having a fucking blast playing it. It's like the complete opposite of like how I felt about playing the Outer Worlds, which proves that we really are in some kind of topsy-turvy, upside-down fucking clown world. When you have the game by Obsidian is like a functional, like smooth, polished experience, and then it's like, oh, here's this fucking Star Wars game published by fucking EA, and I know fucking everybody hates EA, but it's just like, here's like some big budget fucking Star Wars game by like the ex Call of Duty fucking people who are just known for just like completely smooth, polished fucking games. And that's the one that's glitchy and rough, you know what I mean? But still, I can't stop fucking playing Fallen Order. Like, this is almost all I fucking played this week. I'm just fucking, it's like, this is fucking fun. Like, I wanted to just keep going, and, you know, it's fucking enjoyable, it's fucking rewarding to play and fucking explore, and, have your character get stronger. Well, then as I was playing the Outer Worlds, it's just kind of this meandering by the numbers RPG that was just taking too long for anything to fucking happen. I can only imagine if they make a Fallen Order 2, and I hope they do. Like, you know what I mean? It's fucking just like, again, I'm not even done with the first one. It's just like, this is fucking it's so fun. It's just fucking, if they just like polish it just a little bit more, dude, they'd fucking be like one of the best Star Wars games ever made. Like, it's fucking so fun. You know, if they made like a Titan, like they did with Titanfall 2, where it's like, the first Titanfall was kind of like, whatever, it's like some multiplayer thing. We just want to focus on the multiplayer. Like, this just seems like they were kind of experimenting as they were going, of like, we've never made this type of game before, but here's what we're doing, here's our ideas, and it's like, wow, this is fucking really fun. But, you know, if they again, make it like a sequel where they know the basics of it and just polish it and all that shit and blow it up or do whatever they're going to do. It might be something completely different, but, you know, once they have the grasp down of fucking like how to make like this third person platforming action thing with all the powers and shit, that will be fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Once fucking Respawn learns the ropes of third person action, hopefully it won't be like a Mass Effect 2 situation of just fucking like, I don't know, dude, we just fucking made it like pretty just more standard, and, you know, fucking, yeah, Mass Effect 2 sucked is what I'm getting at. So yeah, I think the most Dark Souls thing about Fallen Order, what we really care about, we just compare every game to Dark Souls, is the boss battles in it. Like, those really feel like fucking like, all right, dude, now I'm playing like like a Souls. It's usually like a meditation circle right by them. It'd be like like a bonfire, you know, you're fucking resting in a bonfire, then you're running up to a boss and fighting the boss. And it's there because you're probably going to get your ass kicked the first few attempts. I would say that the first major boss fight is against this Skrull-looking guy with a double-bladed lightsaber. There might be one before. I've been playing it all week, and it's fucking a lot of times I've been fucking like tired all week because I'm working like fucking 10-hour days every day. But yeah, so the first one that I remember is fucking facing this fucking this Skrull guy. And yeah, it's a pretty straightforward fight, but it's difficult to tell like when you should be blocking or parrying, because he's fucking, you know, he has the double blade that he's fucking like twirling all the time, and it's hard to tell like, all right, is that like an attack I should be blocking, or is that just fucking something I can ignore and like attack him at that point? You know, he's spinning around like a fucking fruit all around his fucking body. And yeah, I mean, some of the attacks are just tough to read or time. You know, he'll fucking like do a ground pound that you need to jump over. You know, there's like a shock wave that goes on underneath him. But they have it so there's like just enough of a delay, like a slowdown, where it's like, all right, you see him jump up in the air, and then you know, then as he's coming down, it'll like hang there for like a second or two, which might be to fucking like help you, like, all right, well, now it's my time to jump, but you're timing it for him, like, you know, where he would land in like real time, you know what I mean? So it's like, all right, well, I know I should jump, so it's like, you know, so you do, like, you jump like where he would land normally, and then it's fucking like, oh, that little delay, just now he hits the ground like right when you would, you know, right when you're fucking recovering. And you literally eat dirt. He's like a shock wave of dirt just fucking comes out, and it's like, shit, I'm like on the ground like right now, and that's gonna fucking hit me, and it does. So, you know, he has 3 phases to him but they're not like dramatically different. But, you know, I think it even starts like a single blade, and then like a second phase is the double bladed one, maybe something like that. But he'll pull out like a few different moves, and between each one, you get the fucking classic homoerotic innuendo of the two of you crossing lightsabers, and you have to button mash either like X or B to win, and, you know, it's just like a, you know, power, you know, fucking power sitting there looking at each other with your dicks in your hand. Yeah, you fucking like jam A or B quick enough, and you'll push him off and hit him once, or if you fuck up, you get fucked up. You know how it works. You know, it's just like a learning experience. You have to learn what attacks that he's gonna do that are really gonna fuck you up, and when's a good time to use force low to get like a free shot on him. It's pretty much what my main go-to is, pretty much just fucking, you know, because they have like all the fights, just everybody has, it's almost like Sekiro. I'll put it that way. we're having these fucking fights, and everybody has these stamina bars where you're not, there's like a stamina bar and a life bar. You have to get the stamina bar first before you can get a shot in that's gonna lay their land on their fucking health bar, So I mean, it's fucking, you have like this the power of force slow. And you do that, and it's pretty much like, well, you do that, they're not gonna be able to block usually if you time it at certain times. Like, you're just gonna be able to get in and fucking just like get a free hit, and that's just gonna take off a chunk of their fucking life, So that's a pretty go-to move. I mean, that's usually the most of what I use the force for, is just fucking like, all right, dude, I'm just gonna get a free hit in. Like, why wouldn't I? And then you can build up. Once your force is down, you have to do like normal attacks to build it back up. So it's a lot of that, like back and forth of just like, all right, I'm just going to get a free hit in, go in, fucking fight normally, all right, slow, more shit. Because like, you could fucking like push people off ledges and all that shit, but fancy stuff like that, fucking pull them into you and get a hit that way, and then push them out and push them into crowds, and there's all this shit you can unlock to make it more powerful, but it just seems like the most reliable one. It's just like, all right, force low, go in, there's a free hit, and back to like the melee combat. So the scroll guy, it's just like not that easy. Like one bit of advice I'll give is, I had you do get like a double bladed lightsaber yourself. You can get it before you even fight this dude. I think there's a couple ways to get it, but I was exploring some other planet, and you find it on like a workbench pretty early on, and get a fucking like a double bladed lightsaber. You can switch back and forth, a single or a double, whenever you want. So I had the double one equipped when I fought him. Don't use that. Even though it looks badass to have a fucking double bladed lightsaber, it's not that great for one-on-one fights. Yeah, you don't do as much damage, and your moves aren't as good with the. You have more moves you can do with the single. Just holding one lightsaber. So avoid the temptation of choosing style over efficiency when fighting Skrull monsters. And then, the next boss fight is actually some real soul shit, because you fight like a dragon, a space dragon, that he slams his fucking wings into the ground, and you can fucking dodge that, and then like counter and like hit him. You hit his fucking wings a couple times, and the dragon will fucking like dip his head down for a little bit. And that's just long enough to get a few fucking swings in on his fucking head, which is, I mean, you can sit there and, it's like Souls, where you can fucking like sit there and you can chip away at him all day. You're gonna be there forever. Then like you have to hit his weak point, which is his head, because it's glowing red. So it's pretty explicit about that. So you have to like fight all of your instincts to get behind it, and just start like slashing away at its ass so it can't hit you, as Souls has trained you to do. But it's like, now you have to like sit there and like face him and just try to like get his head when you can. He'll float up in the air, and he'll breathe these fucking like wind tornadoes at you, and then he'll fly in from there to like ram you, and just like the mechanics and the animation. Again, it's not really the same like feel of the fighting, obviously, of fucking like Dark Souls or whatever, but or like that level of difficulty, but it just like looks that way, really. It looks like it could be one. You know what I mean? And even though most of the space dragon's attacks really aren't that hard to fucking like dodge, like you can see them and read them pretty easily. It's just like, dude, if he connects with one of them, it's like half your health gone. It's pretty high damage. So yeah, you fight him on this volcanic Sith planet, which I can't quite remember the name of, but I'm almost positive it's a different volcanic Sith planet from the one in Knights of the Old Republic, and maybe also a different volcanic Sith planet from the one in Revenge of the Sith. But this one has Darth Maul's on it, so it's got zombies too in there for some reason. The main threat in Fallen Order are the sisters, I think, which just doesn't really explain why I fought that Skrull guy, who was clearly a man, an alien man. And maybe it's like the sisters from the Shawshank Redemption, or the dragon I fought. I definitely don't think he was one of the sisters of the Force, whatever the fuck they're called. So, I mean, I can't say even paying the closest attention to the fucking plot, but what I have fucking picked up, like, it's pretty cool. Like, it's fun. It's a good story and shit. If that makes any sense. If, like, I'm not really paying attention, but, it's okay. Like, it seems like it's okay. It's not like fucking like really cheesy or whatever. So yeah, they have, flashbacks to Cal as a young boy, as a young Padawan. Whenever you learn a new Jedi power, it usually flashes back to him, like, learning it or whatever. Which seems kind of annoying and, like, unnecessary at first, but, it's just like, why are all these fucking, like, flashbacks in here? Like, I don't know. But, yeah, once you complete the Sith planet, there's this extended scene with him, as a kid, where they show, like, the exact moment where Order 66 happens, and, the clone troopers are all right there. You see him, like, get the message, and they start, he's in, like, a Jedi academy or whatever. And the clone troopers are trying to, just like mowing down all the fucking Jedi and shit. They're trying to murder you when you're running through the fucking place, and you see your master in the distance, like, the guy's been training you, like, in all the flashbacks. You see him, like, fucking just fucking shit up and throwing fucking stormtroopers or clone troopers, like, throwing fucking people around and fucking slamming them on the ceiling and shit. So it's pretty fucking cool. Then he eventually gets shot and dies, and it's like, all right, well, there's, like, some kind of emotional moment to whatever, some character moment to this fucking Cal guy who's otherwise, again, just been kind of like, I don't know, it's a fucking Jedi, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I really like how they actually pulled that off. It was good. I thought it's like, here's like these short little flashbacks. You think it's just going to be like these, just to train you of how to use the Force powers, and like, oh, here's like a story thing that's, like a level almost in there. It was a good storytelling technique. It's fucking character development and plot explanation and fucking tutorial and just fucking, it's like, here's like a major twist for the character. And I mean, I don't know if it's a major twist, but it's fucking like Master died or whatever. It was fucking like, here's like a big moment for him in this fucking, again, this little thing that you thought was a tutorial. It's just like set up very well, I thought. You can actually play it, unlike, it's not like a Hideo Kojima game or some shit like that, or it's fucking like, I don't know, here's a movie to explain shit. Then cut back to present day, whatever, a long time ago, where the main portion of the game takes place. Yeah, I'm still a little shaky even now about like what the purpose is of Cal's journey besides fucking recovering his Force powers. I kind of want to replay it actually and pay more attention to the story, but. So I would like to, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Just for the reason, like I said, the game's so big and it's fucking long and shit, and fucking like, I don't know, I'll probably just enjoy this fucking playthrough here, and maybe like a year or two go back and play it. As fun as it is to fucking play, like, I don't know if I want to start like another 30, 40 hour. I mean, again, I'm guessing. I'm not really sure. It's like restart that, with no fucking upgrades again. I wouldn't want to do that like immediately after. I also I don't plan on going for like 100% completion or anything like that. The thought did cross my mind at one point, to at least like go back to each planet and explore the map 100% and just go through, but for once the map in the game is actually useful, where they show you, what paths you haven't gone down yet, and they mark any like obstacle that you can't get past yet. Like, it'll just be like a red door on the map or a red whatever. It's like, okay, so I know I can't go there yet until I get another power and come back. And then once you do, that'll turn green. So this is fucking like very just clear of like, all right, these are the paths you haven't gone down. These are the ones that are blocked. Like, they show you like everything. You know what I mean? But it's also just too big. Like that, like that's the thing. It's just like, I'll get like a Force power. I'm like, oh, cool. Like now if I could go back and fucking go to another planet that I had already been to and go to these different fucking, different places in there. Then it's like, all right, cool. I'll check the map on the planet and be like, I'm not running through that entire fucking thing again just to like, I don't know what's going to be there. It's just going to be like a new chest, you know, that'll fucking have like a lightsaber handle or a new fucking like poncho or something in there. It's like, is that really worth like running through this fucking planet for 20 minutes for that? So the one thing that it would need for that to fucking, it actually may have this. I'm not done with the fucking game yet. Is if they had like a fast travel you could do between all like the meditation circles in the game. I mean, like bonfires, whatever. Hopefully they do rip that off from Dark Souls eventually, where it's just fucking like, well, if you want to go back and like, you don't have to run through the entire fucking map, you know, the entire fucking planet again to get to like that one path that who knows what's there. If I could just fucking like teleport there immediately, like right next to it, and just fucking go from there, that would be a big help. So hopefully they have some late game ability where Cal can fucking tap into the Force to do space teleportation. I don't even fucking care how they justify it. You know, he enters a fucking fused state, and fucking bam, you're on fucking Ilium or some shit like by the fucking wall you're gonna get past. Like that would be nice. So yeah, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order. It's a hard game to put down again. I had it's a lot of fucking fun, dude. It is fucking good shit. But then I heard Shenmue 3 came out. And how could I resist the glacial storytelling from the story of some fucking Chinese guy doing mundane tasks for hours and hours? So yeah, if you remember Shenmue 3, if you remember the embarrassing Kickstarter of the director or whatever of Shenmue e-begging at Sony's E3 press conference like 3 or 4 years ago. Then remember the fucking games journalists like crying, literally crying at the thought of this fucking corporate pitch from someone who, I don't think he's made a game for like 20 years or something like that. And every like trailer and screenshot that was released for Shenmue 3 just looked like complete ass, but still was just, I was, oh my God, I can't wait. And it's like, doesn't that look like shit? No, it's fucking, it looks amazing. So what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like that looks so bad. Well, yeah, so Shenmue 3 came out and, surprise, it sucks apparently. One more time, once more, I'm just talking shit about a game I haven't fucking played yet, but yeah, just come on, fucking look at it. Just fucking look at that game. Of like, again, doing like the early previews of that, just fucking, that looks terrible, dude. It's fucking like, I don't know, like everyone's, oh no, it's fucking great. So Shenmue 1 and 2 were both pretty bad when they came out. I mean, the saving grace of those games being that they were, I mean, the graphics of those games actually looked really good at the time. Like that was like impressive as shit back then. And that the graphics and like just how like detailed they were at the time comparatively. You know, you could fucking like open up like all these drawers and doors, and again, the game was focusing on like this mundane shit. It's like, oh, look how shit you couldn't do in games before or whatever. Most games where it's fucking just opening, like physically opening these fucking doors and fucking all this shit. Depending on how enamored you were with the fact you could do like this everyday like life sim shit, monotonous tasks you normally wouldn't want to do in a video game for good reason. And if you liked quick time events and lots of like horribly translated dialogue and, some fucking like shitty combat, it had its fans. So come to think of it, maybe Shenmue had quite a bit going for it. It was innovative in all the wrong ways. I actually do have the first 2 games on Steam, and I don't know, maybe if they run well, I think I've said this before too. I should probably play these fucking games again, just as like, I don't want to say a joke, and I'm not one, God forbid. I mean, I know, I take video games seriously. I wouldn't ironically play a game, but it's just fucking, maybe I'll punish myself, those games are like endurance contests. I know I couldn't I remember playing the second one, on like fucking like original Xbox, like back when it first came out and all the hype around it again, and I'm fucking like playing it and like all excited, and then getting like, I don't know, like 10, 15 hours in, just being like, dude, no. And it's just like, so like that's fucking most of my experience that I remember with fucking Shenmue. But I don't know, maybe that's why the Shenmue fan base is fucking whacked off their rockers, and they always have been. You know, they all fucking endured the same, like, mentally anguishing, hazing ritual of actually playing through those games, and now they're just, like, stuck with it. You know, it's like a survivors group. So anyway, so I bring Shenmue up because of the similarities to Death Stranding, which I've fucking talked about last week or whatever. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was like the same E3. I think they were both announced at the same conference. I think that was like the big, like, oh dude, the 1-2 punch where Sony like knocked out the competition at this year's E3. You know, like, how do you compete with these fucking guaranteed masterpieces from these fucking, you know, Hideo Kojima and fucking whatever the fuck the guy, Suzuki, whatever, dude. Like, oh man, the fucking big guns are coming out. And, you know, both those games have crazed fan bases, and fucking PlayStation fans obviously are ridiculous. So it's just like this like triangle of shit. You know, it doesn't matter what the fuck the games actually are. I mean, you could fucking try playing it and they could literally fucking spray shit into your face and fucking like, well, I liked it. You know, it's a Japanese rule. You know, then both those games actually come out, and I think we're actually at the tipping point where gaming critics and like journalists and shit, some of them, I think, you know, where you would expect them to like just go along, just be like, oh, these games are 10s because of whatever, dude. You know, fucking, I don't know, fucking gaming royalty, blah blah blah. Oh, hype, dude. They have the fan bases we don't want to piss off, so we're not going to say anything bad, dude. It's just fucking, oh, these games are amazing. So yeah, I think we're kind of crossing the Rubicon here, where the critics are like so irrelevant now. Like even they have to go like, look, these games are fucking objectively terrible. You know, I'll write a little something in my review about how like a certain subset of a fucking person might get some enjoyment out of this, but fucking look at it. Just like look at these games. Look at some gameplay, or just like what the fuck you're doing in these games, and that it's fucking boring and it sucks. So I think that's some kind of progress in that field. Like I think they're kind of down to their last dollars, where it's not even worth like selling out anymore. It's like fucking so like some of the critics and writers and shit are just like, you know, just fucking like, I don't know, I'll punch in and fucking like, I don't know, I'm not gonna, I was like, I can't just fucking do what I'm supposed to do. We'll say these games are boring as shit. So, and that kind of makes the sites that still give them like 9s and 10s, like those guys kind of stick out more, you know, or they have a fucking award show where Death Stranding gets nominated for a bunch of shit, even though it came out like a day before the fucking award show voting. So chances are, I mean, not a lot of people played it to any sort of completion or thought beyond having like, oh, well, if we put this guy in our fucking, if we nominate him, he'll come and we'll have this fucking hack overbloated Jap game director at their fucking fake ass game awards, and that'll drive up ratings. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's kind of the old school thing. Again, I think it's just getting to the point where it's like, long term, you know, it's like we're not the big guys anymore. We're not like what they used to be. So long term, if we want to survive, like maybe we should actually do something objective, or you know what I mean? Like not just fucking just hype and fanboy bullshit. But Shenmue, as much as I don't like it, and as much as I genuinely fucking hate Shenmue fanboys, it does like that game seems more genuine, you know, than the other one, than fucking like Death Stranding. Like Death Stranding just seems like this fucking just such a, I don't know, corporate scam money grab. I mean, Shenmue, obviously the Kickstarter was a fucking scam, but it's still bad. It just seems like fucking like that guy at least like cares more about like the story, you know, and not just fucking, I don't know, Kojima just seems like just he cares about himself, really. Just fucking like, I don't know, make some bullshit art, you know, but pretentious bullshit. But I'm actually thinking about playing through all three just for a laugh, because, you know, again, I want to kill myself, so what better way to do it? Or I could continue to let other people kill me in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Kill me hardcore. So, yeah, you know, where you explicitly see the bullets enter the vaginas in 4K. So yeah, I mean, I'm still having a lot of fun with fucking Modern Warfare. Still playing the same 3 game modes, hardcore, team deathmatch, domination, search and destroy. Still exceptionally mediocre at it. Though the key is, the pro tip is, if you're playing hardcore, you just do everything really, really slowly. That's what matters in hardcore. I'm very anti-camping in general, and God knows I'm fucking helpless at sniping, but you have to get into that methodical mindset, where your footsteps as you're walking or running, like that's going to be a dead giveaway to anybody not moving and just like listening for you. Like you don't want somebody like standing still and you're fucking like running into a room. It's like they're going to know exactly where you are. So. But you can't even really call it camping in hardcore. It's just like, that's the point. Like, you have to fucking be somewhat stealthy about it, and you crouch walk, or you stay still, find a spot, look down your scope and look for movement, or look for someone on the other end, or someone on the other end sees you, and it's just fucking that split second reaction time. Knowing the maps, knowing fucking the lanes and all that shit. I mean, the quickest draw and the fucking sharpest hand win, which is usually not me, but at least like most of the time anyway. It's like but when I die in hardcore, it's like I know what happened, dude. It's fucking life happened, and age happened, but it's not just fucking like, dude, why the fuck was I shooting this guy for fucking him, a million fucking rounds in the back, and he turned around and just fucking like, I don't know, killed me for some fucking bullshit. I have fucking no idea. It's just like, no, it's very cut and dry. It's just fucking like, oh, okay, I just, saw him, he saw me, fucking killed me or whatever, or fucking I walked in a room, I didn't check the fucking corner, and he just fucking like nailed me. It's like, all right, I get it. So there's really not that much more to add to it, other than my continued plea to not be a pussy and play hardcore. And also that Piccadilly map sucks pretty bad. The one with all the fucking buses and the fountain in the center of it. There's a few like side rooms off to it that are basically just fucking like just plain hallways. It's like, well, I can just do like look down these lanes here and get shot from a mile away, or I can go into these fucking buildings and like hit like blind corners, and that's about all I can do. So yeah, I mean, the Piccadilly, that map's fucking pretty infuriating to play in fucking team deathmatch. It's just so easy just to fucking look directly down at the team spawn from like halfway across the map. That's a street. I mean, people are just like spawning at the end of this fucking like street, and it's like, well, I can just sit here in the middle, dude, by this fucking like fountain or behind a car, and just like see all you guys fucking spawning and just fucking get in there and nail you. And just fucking get behind some burning cars. You can barely be fucking seen, and fucking just start picking people off as they spawn. If not immediately, then like as soon as they start to move to get out of this fucking like murder alley of like, oh, I'm gonna try to run down this fucking into this building, and no, I'm just fucking dead because I had to fucking like move over there. So people just fucking like see me like right there, like a fucking fish in a barrel. Your brains look like bloody liver and onions. Even in like domination, like the A and the C capture points are at the end of those streets. Like that's where they have the capture points. So, it's basically just like gamified fucking spawn killing. It's like, just like, I don't know, dude, whoever's going to get B is probably going to hold B, and the whole team's going to spawn there, and guess where you're going to spawn? Like, I don't know. It's a fucking, it's just like a mess at B. It's fucking surrounded by buses and shit. And again, there's like a couple like random buildings you can go into to like get up to the second floor, like some scaffolding and shit. But, and the only thing to do there is like, all right, well, now I'm in this building. I'm going to like snipe. Maybe you'll get a couple kills from up there, and then like people will hear you or know you're there, and they'll just shoot you, and like that's it. And it's like, all right, well, back to like spawning and just going into like, hiding behind burning cars and shit. The map kind of blows. I guess there's never any like interesting indoor action. It's just all fucking hide behind cars and fucking junk and just shoot at people's feet and shit. It's a clusterfuck. They also added a new map, Kill House, which I didn't think that I would like for the same reasons I don't like Piccadilly, where it's just kind of like this very open map. It has these long sight lines. It's kind of like, it's supposed to be like close quarters, which is fucking, in order to get into any of the bigger areas, it's like you have to go down just these very plain, just fucking alleys where it's just, you just sit there. People are just going to sit there and just, look at them. It just comes to like, all right, I'm going to poke my head out and see if anybody's around the corner and try to get them. And fucking, that's about it. It's kind of like, look boring, but I mean, at least in Kill House, there's like different levels to go into, some indoor shit and crates to take cover behind and climb on. That was actually growing on me. It's simple and clean, but that's more like to its benefit. I'm just fucking like, all right, it's very simple you can like understand what the map is and just fucking go and do it. Speaking of simple, this podcast has been pretty simple and hosted by a simple kind of man, Jar Jar Absolute Deicide. Next week, I promise I'll shake it up by playing something different. In addition to, I'm still going to play more Star Wars, but in addition to that, I'm going to play something a little bit different. Maybe Shenmue. Maybe I'll play a Star Trek game instead. Nanu, and all that. Podcast at gruntfreepress.com is the space mail. www.gruntfreepress.com. That's kind of like Facebook, only you have to like type that into your browser, I don't have an app because I'm not gay. But yeah, you can go there to find hot black single ladies. And happy Thanksgiving, and don't forget to stuff somebody's ass like a fucking turkey. That's the tradition. That's where Sitting Bull got his name. So you have to be authentic.
Man, who decided we were gonna have a vegan Thanksgiving?
Man, no chicken. Summer, right?
Oh, you get uncomfortable without chicken, huh?
You already know, bro.
Man, come on. Y'all done give him a chance. Like, y'all seen the freestyle? It looked like it's gonna be lit.
Oh, bro, going in.
You all right to me?
I'm about to go in here because, I don't even eat meat. I'm a veterinarian, so.
What I mean, I'm a vegetarian, but that ain't gonna stop me from getting a plate. Come on, big boy.
This year I'm going all out. A vegan Thanksgiving at our house. About to bring everything but the hog out. Think we eat nothing but grass, what you talking about? Shit, I'm about to jump into the whip and hit the Whole Foods early. Get everything to get that soul food working, like mac and cheese, the collard greens, the black eyed peas, and get a roast of that tofu turkey. Got cornbread, even got stuffing. Mashed potatoes so good, put your hands in it. String beans, and we got yams with it. Got cabbage and greens with no ham in it. You can fill your plate up without all the guilt. We whip pies up, nigga, out of almond milk. Everything that you touch gon' be dairy free. Even though I don't care for me, boy, please, I got it.
Everybody bow your heads, hold your neighbor's hand, get your hand up. All right. Thank you, God, for this food that we have here today. Also, Lord, thank you, man. My baby mama finally took me off child support. I ain't really love her, so I had to be with her for her to take me off. So thank you. That's a good look.
Hold on, bro. Did you just touch the food, bro?
When?
Man, get a plate over. Give me the plates, man.
Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rat.
Let's go again.
Beans, greens, potatoes,
No
tomatoes,
room for the-
lamb, rams,
But you know I got it.
beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes,
No.
chicken, turkeys, chicken.
Let's go, baby.
Beans, greens, potatoes,
You know I gotta get
tomatoes,
seconds,
beans,
man.
Greens, potatoes,
Yeah.
tomatoes, beans,
Let's go.
greens, beans,
Hey, so good, got me back in the kitchen. Can't lie, boy, the mac and cheese hit. Low key, got the situation lit. Bro, you say this ain't cheese, nigga. Tell me how you did it. How the hell you getting milk out of coconut and cashews? Barbecue sliders out of jackfruit. And it tastes so good, gotta grab two. And desserts, they about to get smashed too. Got vanilla cookies, eat them like it's nothing. Got the lemon and the blueberry muffin. I got sweet potato, apple pie, and pumpkin. Taste buds and bean pies are jumping. Got cupcakes, raspberry icing. Top it off with coffee and some light cream. Or the vegan cookie dough vanilla ice cream. Need a plate for your leash. Tell me what you need, I got it.
beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, beans, greens, potatoes,
Ain't
tomatoes,
fucking with them.
chicken, turkeys, rat.
Let's go again.
Beans, greens, potatoes,
No room
tomatoes,
for the-
lamb, rams,
But you know I got it.
beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes,
No.
chicken, turkeys, chicken,
Let's go again.
beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans,